Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the best Reddit answers being read to you. Enjoy! People of Reddit who knew celebrities before they were famous, how different do they act now? Jack Black is the same person he was as a teenager, funny, kind, caring, and spreading that joy of music. Fun fact, Jack Black used to put wires up his sleeves when he was a kid in the hopes that other kids would notice them poking out and think he was bionic. I put wires up my sleeve and I wanted the wires just to peek out a little bit so that if any kids noticed my wires I would say, "It's nothing, it's nothing." They would think I was bionic, because my logic was that I was trying to hide my bionics from them. What guy? Not personally, but everyone in my town has a Dave Chappelle story. I worked with a guy who said he knew him. I called BS. We then met Dave and they were actually friends. Basically no one in town thought he would be much. Now he is a local hero, really down to earth. You literally see this man just chilling in the park in normal cheap clothes. Nothing has changed him. You wouldn't think he was famous. Maybe homeless but not famous. I love Dave's comedy. But what I love even more is that he seems to be a great guy underneath it all. Like that time a couple was scammed for their tickets, and he came and greeted them and gave them new tickets for free. Also, he doesn't give a crap about what anyone says, like ever. Except for when someone is being nice. When I was really young I'd go to the reptile park, originally owned by Bob Irwin and passed on to his son Steve. Steve was always nice, would do all the lizard and croc shows, would hang out and chat afterwards. My dad would take me there occasionally and Steve would seem to remember us, treated everyone like an old buddy. This was before he became famous obviously, and the small reptile park became the Australia Zoo. In my final year of high school I got in the zoo for work experience and they let me stay on. Steve was rarely there, and when he was he'd avoid guests, because they would swarm him and he'd get nothing done. But when I did run into him he was always super nice and still acted like that old friend. Didn't say crikey nearly as much as you'd think. That's definitely something Aussies say, but he really played that up for the cameras as his catchphrase. Unfortunately he died later that year, so right up till the end he was just a lovely person. I can't remember before my aunt was famous. Alex Kingston played River Song in Doctor Who, but I remember going to her wedding and meeting Matt Smith who played the Doctor in Doctor Who and him fixing my flip-flop, the best moment of my life ever. You went to a wedding in flip-flops? It's become a common thing over here, Ireland and I presume the UK, for either guests to bring flip-flops to a wedding for the later hours when their shoes are killing them, or for the newlyweds/venue to supply them in the bathroom, usually for the female guests. I've never seen it for the males. For my own wedding we bought like 50 pairs of cheap bargain store flip-flops for the female guests and left them in the bathrooms. Once word got out they were there, they were snapped up. A close family friend was best friends with Tom Cruise before he got famous. I didn't believe her and she showed me pictures they have taken together, like a Vegas road trip, camping, etc. He was really awesome, but as soon as he got an ounce of fame it went to his head and he became very arrogant and a fame whore. Don't forget occultist. That came later. I had a friend in high school whose cousin is Kendrick Lamar. He said Kendrick's pretty much still the same guy, acts the same around friends and family, just with millions of dollars now. Was this the cousin that you killed back in '94, Duck Yo Truce? Now crawl your head in that noose. You wind up dead on the news. My aunt was best friends with Madhuana in high school, stayed friends until she got famous and she turned into a completely different person in the worst way possible. So you say your aunt knew her pre-Madonna and pre-Prima Donna Madonna? Found the BoJack Horseman writer. I could hear Princess Carolyn say this. My mom knew Seal as far back as when he was still trying to be an architect, and she says he was always really nice. They didn't stay in touch, she moved away and they were never close, but she said he went out of his way to foster genuine connections to people before and after his music started to gain traction. He always had star quality. Everyone from the most important person in the room to a janitor walking through would be drawn to him, and he'd engage with everyone in a way that really stuck. She always mentions that he was just a really sincere, deeply felt person. He randomly views my Instagram stories. According to a story in the Neat he does this a lot. He said me looking at people's stories, answering people or sending them a quick message, it's always coming from a place of love. Family friend of mine actually dated Kurt Cobain before M''S.Love. Apparently they broke up because he wouldn't get a job, then a little while later he got famous. Can't finish the question for obvious reasons. I remember that story. He wrote about a girl for her to stop being mad on his unemployment. Chris Hemsworth and his brother Liam, both really good blokes before and after they became famous. My aunt dated both Hemsworth brothers in high school. She still jokes that she kissed Thor. Doesn't really check out. Liam and Chris are 8 years apart. Unless you meant Luke? Or Larry. My mom dated Will Ferrell for a little while. He came round quite a lot and she said he was real down to earth and incredibly funny. However, afterwards they really just lost touch. So we never got to know how he personally changed. My mom says she's still like used to be. My mom and dad still laugh about her dating him. Your mom dated the Gator? Gators tramps better be using those jimmies. My best friend is cousins with Tyler Posey. She said he was a sweetheart before his Teen Wolf days and he still is now. That makes me so happy. When I was younger I was obsessed with that show and it's nice to know he's genuinely a great guy. He really is. He was on our Comic-Con last year. A friend of mine is a huge fan and did a meet and greet while she was in cosplay. The next day he did a Q&A and she asked a question wearing another cosplay and he said something in the line of, "Hey, you are the girl from yesterday." He was truly kind to her and warmed my heart. Tyler the Creator, exactly the same. We were all concerned at how bizarre he was. He would call people a table or something incredibly random and the sense of humor caught on in my high school. The fame did nothing, he's still strange and a sweetheart. I knew Tom Holland at the time he did that Tsunami movie. We were not really friends but he was so funny and friendly. It's important not to make Spider-Man masculine because he's a kid. As soon as you make him masculine, it's harder to relate to him if you are younger and are in high school. I definitely was not masculine in high school. Tom Holland? He is just so pure and almost perfect for the Spider-Man role. My sister has a friend that's cousins with The Weeknd. From what my sister told me, he doesn't attend large family gatherings as much. Apparently some relatives only want to ask him questions in regards to his fame and whatnot. I'm not sure if that meant they ask him for favors, but it must get annoying either way. It must suck to be around family, and not be your regular old self. At the same time, it must be hard for his relatives to see him as the same guy before he got famous. I'm not saying that they shouldn't try, but people are naturally weird and awkward. It's just another crappy part about being famous, and I'm sure he's not the only celebrity that's gone through this. I went to high school with Dacre Montgomery. He was a dick with a huge ego in high school and I saw him recently when he came back to his hometown and seems like he's still a dick with an even bigger ego now. I can't watch Stranger Things without rolling my eyes every time he comes on screen. Well, he was a dick in Stranger Things too, so he must be committed to his role, I guess. He's such a method actor that he became the role even before he got it. My aunt had dinner with Keanu Reeves and other people before he did Matrix when he came to Spain. She said that Keanu was very handsome and incredibly polite. He radiates this even from the distance. What a wholesome man. I met Noah Centineo when he was in Austin and Ally, so that was a little before he started becoming big. I don't know him very well, although he did once babysit me, haha. But I more so know his mom as she is one of my mom's closest friends. My mom does still see Noah sometimes and says he hasn't really changed. And that he comes to his mom's events sure says something. Still a sweet gentleman. What would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.